Okay, great. So we're recording now. So as always, we'll plan to make the whole recording public. And if anything gets said that you think shouldn't be public, let me know and we'll stop the recording and start a new recording. And if we don't stop, then we'll just plan to make the whole thing public. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Oh, wow. It is so great to be with you, Paty. I mean, there's so much, right? I'm really eager to hear about your trip to Colombia and any of the other news that you want to share on that. And then, and of course, we can stop the recording if you want to share that personally. But also, just so much has been happening on this side, and I imagine on your side as well. So I'm just really eager to connect, catch up, and just see how everything weaves together.
Yeah, of course. I definitely feel there's a lot of shifting. And I feel that the shifting happens when people just keep taking action, even if it feels really, really hard or don't even know what the action is, just show up. So I've been really just been guided by spirit. Spirit's like, do this, do that, or let's go in this direction, or something happens. I'm like, yeah, that was spirit set, or nope, gotta run the other way, Uh, that's been enjoyable, crossing things off my list. So, yes, I just went to Colombia for a couple of weeks, beginning of July. And the purpose was to look to see if that's the next place for me to live. And where we went to visit was really nice. It's a beach town. It's starting to grow. There's going to be a lot of changes in that town as well. And our thought is to, when I say ours, myself and my husband, to buy some land and build a home for ourselves as well as a healing center. Originally, the idea was like, let's focus on the house first. But while I was there, I got to see options for, just property. I was like, oh, well, let's just go ahead and do it all at once. So we're looking at different properties. Our ideal is right on the beach, so we can wake up in the morning. We want to have a prefabricated home. They build those out there, and then for like a few $1,000s, you get to choose what you want. If you want it custom, even it's a little bit higher, but then they build it, ship it over to you, and put it together.
Amazing. That's really,
I
it's
was
really
like, I
amazing.
can
And
do
it's really,
that. Mm-hmm.
all of that is amazing. And I didn't know about your plans for the healing center. So that's super extraordinary and so awesome. I'm very curious to hear the name of the town that you're interested in, the place, if you don't mind sharing.
Not at all. So we're looking at the department or county per se. It's my little cat, one of them, is called Uraba, something like that. Urabe. That's like the county, and then in there's a bunch of cities. So we're looking at either Necoclí, which is, it's merely, it's a small beach town. It's pretty active, but it's also a place where a lot of immigrants come through from South America on their way to the US. So it's interesting to see that. And there were a lot of immigrants. Actually, when I went there, they said most immigrants had already crossed over. So there's still just a few. So being around that and seeing that close at hand, it's like, wow, okay, what's going on? And I ran into a few people who were very spiritual and kind and wanted to do community work. I was like, thank you, Spirit. Let's keep making this easy. And yeah, that's the idea. Like I said, we're looking at property. We're going to look at taking out a loan to pay for the property. And then next year, we'll go and visit and then start creating a plan to build.
Amazing.
Land first, and then we'll be like, all right, we'll let nature take its course, and then we'll come over. Or another idea is because my husband, that's where he's from. He has family there. And we could hire somebody, we could have family go clear it and then plant a bunch of fruit trees. I want to plant moringa, some natural plants that will just help the land, and then provide us what we need once we get there. So that's again another option, and that's super cheap. So
Amazing. That all sounds so extraordinary. What a shift and an opportunity, and what a life shift for you, you know?
yeah, yeah. And our goal is by that, like, just move slowly. It's not going to be a rush deal. Probably live part-time in Miami, part-time in Colombia, and then eventually shift over and still come back here. And I've been seeing more and more people doing that, leaving Miami and coming back for like a weekend, a week, working with their clients, and then be like, I'm out of here. That idea just sounds glorious to me. I mean, I know you're not even in Miami anymore. They're just like out, right?
No, but I
Yeah.
appreciate what you're coming from. I miss Miami. I love being on the beach there. That's like the best, you know. So I really miss being on the beach in Miami, and will always miss being on the beach in Miami whenever I'm not there. So,
Yeah.
but I really understand and appreciate your interest. I was asking about the location because I was just connecting with a Colombian friend of mine recently who has kind of similar aspirations, and I was wondering if you guys were actually, you know, in the same geographical area that you're thinking about, and there might be some opportunity for some collaboration there. But she's
For sure.
living full time in Colombia, and I'll share. I want to make sure, because I haven't talked with her about, you know, making videos public and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I want to get her permission before I share her name publicly, but I'll share it privately. Actually, you might know her, so let me pause for a second and let you know, and see. We can see if you know her. You guys will connect sometime soon anyways, as all of the threads start to connect
Yeah.
with all the stuff that's happening with Uniting for Action. But to get back to what you're saying, it's an amazing, you know, plan, vision. How long have you guys been holding that vision?
Well, I've had the vision for at least 20 years.
Wow. So what
I
a
just never knew what country. I was just like, somewhere it's gonna just show up and it's gonna be easy and it's gonna flow. And then actually the year before I met my husband, I started journaling and started talking about Colombia in the writing. Colombia, I've never even been there. Okay, it feels good. And then lo and behold, I meet my husband, and on one of our dates, I was like, so Colombia's coming up for me. How strongly do you feel about staying in Miami? You know? And he's like, oh, we can go whenever. But we're working on his documentation so that he would be able to become a US citizen and then be able to come back and forth easily. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Like he has somebody on the ground right now that's, when I say on the ground, like in the area. And yesterday he went and looked at different properties, and he sent my husband like a bunch of videos and pictures and prices and locations, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's like a gold mine.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
On the beach in Colombia. I can't wait to visit you there.
exactly. Well, one of our goals that has always been my goal is, like I said, the healing centers. I also want it to be a teaching center. So I would love to have people from all over the world come and share their gifts, to share their knowledge. People come to experience things. And if anything, if people really want to learn, maybe have the teacher stay for a specific amount of time and teach, right? I mean, there's so many ways to bring a collaboration.
Amazing. That's
Okay,
so,
let you
yeah, no, that's great. And I really appreciate the clarity of the vision, because, you know, that's what we're really starting to get into, and will more and more and more, is we're going to start to build out your reality generating machines with these pieces that you just shared, you know, that, you know,
know.
last 5 minutes or 10 minutes can now be a clip that you share on your page that any of your friends that are interested in knowing your plans now can hear it, right?
Yeah.
And add to it. Oh, I know this person, and oh, you need to connect with so-and-so, and right? And that's how, as we've talked about, we get to use the tools to actually, manifest the vision. So I really honor and appreciate that this is 20 years in the making and, happening right now for you. It's really an amazing perseverance in your manifestation, to really hold that and see it through. And now it's happening. It's so exciting. What an exciting time.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
And same goes for you, your vision and, our messaging and what's up, something that a path that you're going to be leading soon. And it's like you said, what I mentioned earlier, it's those of us continuing to take imperfect action. We're like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to keep going. And then eventually it's like, oh, here's an open door. Great. Let's walk in. Right. And then there's like other like minded doors. It's like, hey, how's it going? Are you in there?
It's really perfect that you're saying that, because that's almost exactly what I was thinking about in terms of some of the sharing I want to do with you a little bit later in our meeting. Is, I'm going to lay a bunch of stuff out for you. We're going to talk about a lot today. There's so much to go over, which is amazing. But, part of it is just like, okay, there's all of these options. Where are you, aligning, right? And that's why this very first part, I want to keep in this mode of hearing your vision. And I've got that vision that you just shared with me, which is awesome. And there's other visions that we've talked about in terms of the trauma program and the teaching curriculum and the one-on-one session. I want to hear, a little bit more of those visions. You've shared some, but also the, the vision of how you want to serve clients remotely, and the types of clients you want to serve, and the numbers of clients you want to serve. And do you want to be, on a big stage in front of people, or do you just want to work, one-on-one with you? I really want to dive in to all of what you really want, what's really inside of you wanting to come out, because that's what I really want to focus on facilitating for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, give me just one moment to get a pillow for my back, and then we will dive right into that. All right?
Sounds good.
I will be right back. Okay, great. So, so to pick up with what I was just saying in terms of the visions, let me share with you, the 4 areas that I feel like, we're focusing on right now. Let me open this up. Is organizing priorities, refining your sales funnel, building your brand, and creating content. So from like an overall strategic perspective, that's kind of the way that I see things. I know there's, again, all these specifics of the specific programs and all of that, but are there any other aspects of how we address your business that you want to add to this list right here?
No, I feel like the organized priorities will then go deeper dive of like those little details.
Exactly. And so what I'm going to share with you, and I don't want to go too deep into it right now because I really want to give you time to, talk about all of this, but I want to show you where I've been going with things, since our last meeting, because I've been in this process with you of, a global strategic planning, and then drilling down to what we're actually going to create and prioritizing and all of that, right? How do we manifest all of this? And I've been going through a similar process with Angie, as I shared with you before. And so a lot of it is the same, like how do we look at things? How do we prioritize branding, all of that sort of thing? And as we've talked about, these things are the same types of things that people deal with, that you apply these sorts of questions, how do we create our brand? What content do we need to create? What do we need to create for this product? You know, that is a systematic process, right? So what I'm doing now, let me share with you a couple of things, and then we'll go a little deeper into it as we go. But I'll give you a little sense again of what's what the rest of our meeting is going to look like in terms of showing you things and integrating with the system and where we're at with everything. So like, I'm going to give you the tour in a little bit. We're not going to go into everything right now, but this is just the beginning of your reality generating machine to create this program. Okay. And then we're going to add reality generating machine sets of actions, you know, thoughts, whatever we need to add in order to build this out for you. Okay. Makes sense?
Okay.
And let me jump over here real quick. I'm going to show you, you know, what I've been doing similarly with, hold on one second. What I've been doing with Angie to show you kind of the build out of what we're going to do with you. So let me log in here real quick. Oh. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, so, you know, we're just starting, you know, what yours looks like right now. We're going to add all these other layers as we start to break it down, and all of the different machines for all of the different things that you want to do, right? All the different objectives that you have. But just to show you very quickly, you know, what a more built out version looks like and where we're going to go with yours, you know, next is, you know, and this is just the beginning, but here you can see how with Angie, we're breaking things down. This is all blown out now. Okay. So let me collapse it again so you can see it step by step. So under her collaborative projects, she has the tantric ministry. And then under that, you know, these three different machines that we're building, one for communications. And under the communications, we got social media, brand building, videos, website, you know, very similar to the types of things that you've got, you know, for your brand building, right? And then under this, and then this is, let me show you this other document that I've begun now that we're going to work off of. So this is your strategic planning doc. Oh, this is the README. Yeah. But this is the strategic planning document. And so this is new. Oh, this is not. This is the video samples document. Let me get the right document. Here it is. Okay. So this is the strategic planning document. And this is the document that gets into these four: organizing, sales, brand building, create content. And I've begun to build it out with some of it with your specifics. So with the priorities, again, these are generic priorities, right? And then under each one of these, then there's more specifics. Like for revenue generation, for example, you've got selling your own product and services, right? I mean, that's traditionally how people make money, right? They sell their own products and services. But also with the system, I want you to remember that you're going to be recommending others' products and services, and that can represent a very significant number and amount of revenue streams, right? So it's important when we're looking at a revenue, it's not just your products and services, but also those that you decide to recommend, right? And then also it's others recommending your products and services. So you've got other people out there, in particular influencers, that are sending people to you and sending clients to you, and that's representing additional revenue streams for you. You get that? Right. So, you know, that's one example. And then cross-promotional partner expanding is another. And then we get into establishing your priorities. And then these, again, we're going to get into this in more detail, but I just kind of want to lay everything out with a broad brush for you to see where I'm at with everything with you. Is I've been taking all that you want to do, your one-on-one sessions, your teaching classes, your coaching sessions, and on and on. And so that's all the priorities, right? Your retreats, your virtual products and services. Okay. And then we get to your sales funnel, including your events, your retreats, your membership, again, all the different things. Okay. So you see how detailed we're getting for you here
Very
already.
much. This has been what my, like, I've been wanting to accomplish, and I have it accomplished in so many different folders and documents, just like, oh, God.
I
My
totally,
feet now, like, oh, there's my head.
I totally understand. I totally understand. And this is the thing is that, and this is why, it takes, it's really challenging for any one individual like you and every other individual that's trying to do it on their own. Like, that's why it's so challenging, right? We're all trying to do it on our own, and it's just so challenging. Fortunately, what I've done with this document is I've already begun the crowdfunding process, right? You provided some funds, Angie provided some funds, others are going to provide some funds that I've been able to go to a deeper level and provide you with way more value than you've been able to pay us. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm collecting this pot and developing something for each one of you that's way beyond what any one of you can pay for. You get what I'm saying?
Correct. And I mean, a lot of these elements that you have, I mean, right now, obviously, so much of it is very focused on me, but a lot of it can be very general, just like remove the company, remove the product, remove the service, replace it, and it's duplicatable. So whatever you're creating, it can definitely be, like you said, like an SOP, right? Just like this is definitely the way to do it. But yeah, the majority of the coaches I've had, that's what they're like, do this. And I'm like, yes. And then I create chaos until somebody else is like, come back here. Okay.
You're really hitting the nail on the head, and you're really understanding, where I'm at with this system now. As a matter of fact, where I've gone with it, not only have I, systematized it in this document that now, we're using with you, but also now what I'm about to do, let's go back to Angie's as an example so that you can see it bigger. So imagine again, the whole brand building aspect built out with all the different things there is for you to address with your brand, right? With anybody to address with their brand. We're talking potentially hundreds or thousands of nano actions, right? Of things to give attention to. And actually, just to show you a little example of that, let me go back into the document, because I did do a deep dive just to kind of make my point about that so you can understand. So in the brand building, how do you want to describe yourself in terms of, samples? We're going to look at other people's samples, and you're going to say what you like about their content and their social media and their videos. And we've talked about that a little bit. And then also, the qualities of the content. Now, this is where I did a deep dive just for you to get, the level of detail you can get on this. So on the videography, how many cameras? What are the different angles? What are the types of angles? Is it a point of view from the practitioner seeing what's happening? Is it a point of view from the audience being there, with the practitioner? Is it a wide shot, close up? How high is the camera? Is it an aerial view? The different depths, the use of focus, behind the scenes shots. It goes on and on and on in terms of like the check boxes. You could be check boxing in terms of what you're incorporating into your particular video shoot that you're imagining. Right. You get what I'm saying? So now we have a template. You're about to do a video shoot. You go through this and check. These are all the things that I'm incorporating. This is how I'm doing it. This is the recipe to create, what I'm about to create, right? And you're, only able to do it as well as you can, just like you're saying, try, put one foot in front of the other. I'll just do my best. But what I was just showing you, as I just in the last couple of days, and this is how awesome, this is with where we're at with everything, is I've now built in I'm in the middle of it, building the technology to have all of that tree, that's all built out already, for you to copy it from there and paste it into your machine. So anybody can build out anything and just copy and paste it from wherever. And the way it's going to develop over time is that people are going to be selling, their thought branches, basically. Like, you can have this whole thing, all of my branding stuff, all of this particular person's branding recipe, for $19.99, whatever it is. It's, it'll be like a one-time fee, or it'll be like a monthly subscription. that'll give you different access to different levels of content. All of this is about to be built into the Uniting Fraction system, actually. So it's all seamless in there. And whenever you browse anything of anybody, you can see where that stop branches came from, and you can license it essentially, right? As long as they give permission. So again, this is a whole new aspect of it, but part of where it plays into too is I'm much more focused now also on how we build premium content for you to provide membership levels, and then for us to create content. And we're going to get into a bit of detail about this today, how we can create content with cross-promotional partners, influencers, these different entities that you're going to create content with. And we're going to edit it in such a way that you've got, 30-second promo, a 2-minute promo, a 5-minute, whatever, the summary is to get people interested. And if you're interested in the other, 55 minutes of this too, then, here it is, $3 for just that content, or, $9 for a monthly subscription that gives you access to all the content,
Right.
type of thing. And that's, I jumped ahead a little bit because I was going to say before, when I was talking about the visions, I wanted to hear what your vision was of your remote business, of how you wanted to develop your products and services. I kind of have given you a whole lot around that now, but we'll get back as soon as I'm done here. I'll wrap up, let you kind of take the lead and share your vision. But I just want to give you a sense of how things have been evolving, and where I'm at with you in this moment is that we've already got the automation available right now, and I'm about to start having tons of people, be providing, thought branches for you to incorporate into whatever, right? The different coaches you've had in the past, the different people that that provide that, you're going to let them know about this new system, that everything that they've been doing, one-on-one, they're now going to be able to amplify their business, because they can set up a whole automation within this and then earn, revenue constantly from that, right? And reach more people, and, it's just gonna, you get the idea. And plus, and we'll talk about this too, because this is really a big deal, as you can imagine, is the whole, integration and networking I'm about to start doing with all the influencers in Hollywood and all of that. There's a lot of direct correlation, because as you are, one of the first people that those people and anybody are going to find within the realm of empowerment. In particular, I mean, talk about timing, 160,000 actors, not all of them, but a lot of them are in crisis right now, right? For trying to figure out how they're going to, manage the mortgage and deal with stuff and whatever, right? A lot of people dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of, need for support. And you and I will talk, a little bit further today about, the specific things I have in mind to offer, not only to the actors, but to SAG, and just, there's a whole world around that, right? But, let me kind of draw back from all of that and just say, getting back to what you were saying before about, opportunities come up, you're ready, you're just moving your feet and things happen. You're first, we're going to start with you sharing exactly, what you want to create. You know what, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to prejudice you any further. So let's have you just say what your, vision is of, if you're getting all the music inside of you out into the world, what does that look like, And before you do that, you got something on your chin there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's just really dry and humid here, so my face was like caked. So thank you. Well, my vision has definitely continued to be a lot more clear, especially with the idea of moving to Colombia. What I'm working on is this new website that I'm creating. It's kind of building it from, I had somebody build it from the ground up. Now I'm putting in content and the images and be like, okay, it's kind of like, oh, here's my do-over, right? What do I really want to do for the next 10 years? And that's been helpful, to be clear. So what that looks like is more teaching. So definitely more teaching Reiki. And I can do that in both English and Spanish. I can do that in person. I can do that virtually. The trauma aware Reiki program for practitioners. I just actually Chat GPT helped me out. Like create kind of like what you just like showed me, but created a curriculum. And now I'm like, holy crap, you just saved me like, I don't even know how long. So now going in and really being specific. So that's my biggest thing. Doing in-person retreats. We're planning, well, one in Central Florida this year, and next year in Peru. We're going international. So those are the things. I'm also focusing on one-on-one coaching and mental health therapy, as well as energy healing sessions. And that's, well,
Let me get those last ones. Coaching.
Counseling and coaching and energy healing sessions.
Okay, great. So the notes I took, tell me if there's anything to add. We'll add this to your system real soon. More teaching, trauma-aware practitioners. You got your start on the curriculum from ChatGPT. Central Florida retreat this year, next year in Peru. Coaching, counseling, energy healing sessions. Anything else?
Well, other thing would be selling jewelry from Colombia. That's Reiki infused.
Got it. Okay, great.
And that's it for now. At least on the Mariposas holistic side.
Got it. Okay, great. So, so the one thing I want to just understand within the context of everything you just shared is, last time we talked, one of the notes that I took was that you wanted at some point, you mentioned traveling and all that. I don't know if you already had your plans, your Colombian plans already, but you said you wanted to have like 90% of your business be virtual.
Yes.
Is that still what you're thinking? And tell me what you're thinking in terms of how you work the virtual in with the things that you just shared.
Yeah, so a lot of just about every single thing that I just shared, apart from the in-person retreats, can be virtual. Now my idea, probably not 90% virtual, probably about 75 virtual, and then plan my year around the in-person. Oh, doing like when I'm going to go on retreats, when I'm going to be in Miami teaching Reiki, when I'm going to be in Colombia leading retreats, doing different activities, right? Yeah, I already have, like you said, you're like, I'll come to Colombia. So many people are like, I've never been to Colombia. That sounds great. Hook it up. So again, that's another reason why we're saying, okay, if we have a plot of land, you know, we can build our house, the healing center, depending how big it is. Well, we may have space to build like little cottages or little places. And if not, the cost of living there, for example, I was able to stay in a hotel in my own room. Well, I had 2 rooms for 5 nights, one private, one double, $190 for 3 people.
For 5 nights?
Yeah.
Not a night?
Breakfast included, 5 nights.
Holy cow. So it wasn't 190 a night. You're saying 190 for the whole 5 nights.
Whole thing.
That's great. Amazing.
Right. So we would be able to work out with deals with hotels or other places to, you know, for people. I mean, yeah, it's so that's what I'm saying. Like, definitely, as we build, I want to have a foundation here in Miami and a foundation much more secure in Colombia. Miami, you know, I have family here. I have a lot of people that I know here. But again, not the only place, right? I'll start building something in North Carolina or wherever else. So expanding.
It's awesome. It's so great. I so appreciate being witness to your
Yeah.
expansion and supporting you all the ways that I can. It's really, really
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
That's good.
the tech support is a huge, huge support. Can you imagine? I mean, just like what you've written, what you're putting together, I'm like, oh, this, you know, and just having these conversations, definitely been a big influence. I'm like, hey, Patty, do you have this information? I'm like, oh, no, you know, and just getting stuff organized and together and help, you know, getting much more clarity. So it's
That's
been really helpful.
awesome. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. And I honor how you've been keeping up with me with that. And that's part of what we're gonna, talk about soon because I'm about to bolt ahead and I really would love to have you keeping up with me. We'll talk about, but that's why I really want to understand, like your aspirations in terms of like the numbers of people that you want to reach. And if you want to be on like a big stage, and if you want to have like a big following and have, you get what I'm saying? Like how do you want to balance your time, because I know you value that individual connection with people. Is it well, I have lots of thoughts, but let me just leave it at that and hear what your thoughts are, and what speaks to you, how big a stage you want to have, how big an influence and impact you want to have in the world. That's what I really want to kind of get a sense of.
Uh, that's a really good question. That is probably the one area I don't have a clear answer. When I think of like being big, you know, Tony Robbins big, I'm like, oh, that's too big. What I see, but I don't also want to be like small that I just stay in my little community either. Where I'm at right now, I feel is good. People know me, they see me. I still like social media shy per se. Meaning I wouldn't want to say I'm social media shy. For me, it just brings up so much like I don't know what to do that I just don't show up. But I do have a VA that I've given her direction and she's taken it and run with it and it's working great. So for now, awesome. So I'm happy with that. How I'll see again, I also don't want to be like super small where again nobody knows me because I want to build something beautiful in Colombia and have people come from all over the world to participate or facilitate retreats and have people from Colombia. So I don't want to put like an idea. I just want to keep moving. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And it's really great. I appreciate the openness and the feeling to it. So this is that's a really great prelude, for the conversation I want to have with you about this in terms of my vision and what's possible, because this is where, again, you get to choose where on the spectrum you want to land, right? Yeah. The way that I see like this, as I see like just about everything, is when I connect with somebody like you that is doing such an amazing job with people, and you have such a wonderful background. And we're going to get into some specifics around specific thoughts I have. But to me, you're the fact that you're a licensed social worker along with the energy healing and the trauma specialization and, Reiki training and just all of that, you're equipped and you're doing such a great job of helping people. And there's so much support, needed in the world that I want you helping everybody. You know what I mean? I want the whole world that can use your support to have access to you and your support. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see things. You get that. That's, as an engineer, it's like, okay, we've got that solution now. Let's scale it so it can serve everything it can serve. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And
Correct.
and so that's, in my mind, I'll give you some real, specifics of the roadmap that I see, because everything that you're doing and have been doing is awesome. And it's been awesome in the face of the challenging world that we've been living in, that you've been describing, where, you've got folders of this and you've got that, and, it's an overwhelming world, it is for everybody. The opportunity, well, let me break it down again to the real, basics that I was just sharing, because this is, hold on one second, let me pull it up for myself. I want to keep using the terminology with you. Organizing our priorities. Let me actually share the screen again. Organizing our priorities, refining your sales funnel. And let me, kind of give some subs under this, because we talked about it some, but it's your target audiences and it's what do you provide to them, right?
Yeah.
And and then just to continue that thought, then the building the brand and creating the content, right? So I'm going to share with you what I envision is possible right now, and you can see if you feel ready for it. Frankly,
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me breathe. Sorry.
What's that?
Yeah. So I'm just getting ready.
Okay, great. So what I see this as the formula right now. I see creating content with the highest level influencers that you can. We've talked about that, right? Because again, that helps you sell to their followers, and they get to, sell to your followers when you're making money on both sides, right? And you're expanding your database of followers so that over time you're continuing to grow your following, and you have a built-in, that means every new product, every new thing that you offer, you have a bigger and bigger audience that it's automatically being sold to. You get what I'm saying? Like this is how we systematically build your business, basically, right? And in that context, so using this formula that I shared with you before, where we create content with whoever you're able to, whoever you aspire to create content with. And then, part of that, all of that content is supporting building your brand and building your content library, right? Like in that session, you're going to be talking about things that basically make up promo videos for you, right? And you're going to be picking bits and pieces from all of these sessions that are going to be making your promo videos, but it's not you just saying, and I do this with people and I do this. It's having the exchange and the people's eyes opening and them replying, and like the actual dynamics of what it's like when you help people. Do you get what I'm saying? And that people, you can imagine the difference of people seeing you in action versus just you talking about it and them not knowing really what it is until they have a session. You get what I'm saying? And when we do it, especially with people that they recognize, and trust, and that can be local leaders, that people know and trust. That can be people in Colombia, it can be people anywhere, right? Exactly. Everybody has their own, people that trust them. But again, what I'm seeing, with the people that I'm about to be connecting with, and like I was saying, I actually been thinking about what, if you're interested, what can we offer SAG itself? Because I think it's a great opportunity to say, we're going to offer, let's say something like 3 free sessions with 3 different, high profile actors that if they like it, then they'll allow it to be public as the exchange, right? Okay. And something like that. We can work with it, but you get the idea of a way, because, one, we're going to create models on the Uniting for Action website that soon everybody's going to be seeing, but we want to, well, let me kind of take a step back. If you're on your, all the tools are here, I'm kind of giving you all of the ways to do it, right? and you'll have the self-service opportunity to keep doing all of this. And I really want to help you create this content right now with specific influencers that I can line up with you and specific people to like create this in your world now. You know what I'm saying? Not let it happen organically in the coming months and years and whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And part of it too is that like I see when there are like waves to be surfed in our society for each of us, basically energetic waves, like if we catch that one, we're going to go somewhere type of thing. You know what I mean? I think you've felt that at times, right? You've maybe experienced it when certain things have happened, like when COVID happened, you know, there was a huge wave to be surfed by a lot of people in a lot of ways. I did that with what I was doing at the time. This actors strike is going to create, especially with what I'm about to bring to SAG and to the whole, you know, industry, it's going to transform how they're empowered. Let me just share a little bit of the details with you because I know it's all new for you. But let me share a little of the details of what I'm going to do with them right away, and you'll get like how this really transforms their industry, their lives, their world, and our whole world, but why this is the perfect moment to work with them with this. And then also, like I'm saying, I would love to be, and here's Paty, and in order for you to be able to serve them at the level they want to be served, we have to get you from here to here, like right away. You get what I'm saying? Like there's some really awesome. Like there's some really quality content we have to create as a model, and just, you know, that sort of thing, do some brand building, but it's really mostly going to come down to who we line up these, you know, sessions with, and then what comes out of your mouth and what comes out of their mouth, right? And I'm just trusting it's going to be awesome. I know it will, you know, but that means that we know that just that's all we have to do. Like you said, this is just the foot in front of the other that we have to take, set up these sessions. And when I say, you know, I know it is, since I don't have those relationships now, I know it's a little bit of a leap of faith, you know, what influencers are we going to be able to line up? But also, it's a step-by-step process, and we're shooting for the stars, we'll land wherever, but we're going through that iterative process that you're going to get to the top of the food chain as quickly as you can, basically, right? But especially that we're doing it with the intention that you're going to be creating content very soon, you know, within weeks, with, you know, potentially world-renowned people, you know, that's, you get what I'm saying? Like,
of course. I
mean,
it's definitely a win-win, and I don't feel like it's that far. If you begin to make like the connections, and that's something that you do really well. You're a great networker. You definitely love to reach out, connect with people. That for me is like torture. I'm like, no, thank you. I talk to enough people, I'm good. So I think that's another idea, is that with the social media block, I'm like, oh, even though I'm not going to see anybody, it's like, oh, let me just put it out there. Once I do it, I enjoy it. Just, getting that push, like, Paty, go do it. When I'm challenged and people say, Paty, I need you to go make a video and make that into your reel, like in 24 hours. I'm like, yes, okay, I'm challenged, let's go. But if not, I can find so many other things to do.
I totally get it. I'm right there with you, Paty. I'm right there with you. And that's why a lot of the work that I've been doing has been so challenging for me, honestly, because I'm there with you. And a lot of times I've had to push through that to do what I do. There's so many aspects of what I've done over the years that are not like making my heart sing, like the programming, just as an example. You've seen how many weeks and months of years I've spent programming, and I don't want to be programming. It's not how I love spending my time. It doesn't give me joy, but I'm doing it because of what it's creating for humanity. And that is, I'm so dedicated to that, that I'm fortunately been able to get my butt in the chair and just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And, you know, I understand, like you're saying, that you have that, you know, kind of the fortitude and the initiative for you to do what there is for you to do. Like you said, just keep taking the steps, even if it's difficult, challenging, just keep taking the steps to keep evolving. So I know we can do this, and I know we can create amazing results. Let me just share very quickly what I'm going to do with the actors so you can understand and you can see, what you can do with them as well. But part of it, let me just say this part too, because I want this in the background for you so you can be processing it as we go, is that the amount of attention of mine that it's going to take to get you from here to there in a short amount of time, and the time that I want to, that you're envisioning, honestly, the finances need to be, circulating between us at a much higher level, as you can imagine. It's the amount of value, for what I'm describing, it's the impact for you and your business of tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of, we'll start with the thousands and we'll start in the beginning. But I just want you to get, you can't, I don't think, maybe you can, you can't pay me enough for the value I can give you in a short amount of time. But I'm going to ask you to stretch as far as you can, whatever it is, whatever you think is fair and worthwhile. And that's, I just kind of want to get back to this, because this, as you understood from the beginning, is the mantra of Uniting for Action, is just we fairly exchange value with each other, right? Like, I forget if we talked about it, but that's going to be like the one agreement that people agree to become a member of Uniting for Action, is I agree to exchange fair value for the value I receive, basically, right? And actually that is just a specific out of the more fundamental, I'm not sure if I've ever shared this with you, so this is great. The more fundamental agreement that people make to come into Uniting for Action, which is to agree to abide by the golden rule within the system, that you treat other people the way that you wish to be treated, right? And so that, from that, just naturally flows a fair exchange of value, right? Like, I want to get a fair exchange back for what I'm giving, right? And so again, I just want to be like really clear so you get where I'm coming from, because I want to support you and I'm offering to support you, but I want you to get, what it's going to take from me to make you the center of my attention, for the coming weeks in these certain ways that we're creating this content together. We're creating, we're working on your brand. We're making these connections. I'm being the person that's reaching out to create the content creation, finding the influence, all of that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's that whole world. It's that whole world. I'm going to say, and I'm just going to throw just like rough numbers, because this to me is even just still minimum, is that like, just like to start with what we were just saying, like really $2,000, but $1,000 just as a start. But really the idea is to create a positive feedback cycle for you, like immediately, where what we're doing is turning into cash flow for you, or you are able to see that it will quick enough that even if we're going at a faster pace than you were imagining, that you're also getting that you're investing in this moment, because this moment is here and you're not going to necessarily have another moment like this. And it's the time to take that leap, like we're talking about, right? And so just to get back again to the specifics with the actors, you probably didn't get a chance to read it. The article I sent you that quoted Mark Ruffalo about the actors' strike and had some other quotes in it.
I mean, I skimmed it, but I also have a client who's been updating me on that.
Got it. Basically, what Mark Ruffalo said, which has been echoed by some others, is like, hey, why are we being beholden to these studios? Let's create our own stuff and, in a way, go direct to consumer or direct to whatever, like we can do it ourselves type of thing, right? And, in today's world, people can do things together to a certain degree with the tools that are at hand. And with the Uniting for Action system, take everything that you and I just talked about in terms of systematizing brand building and all of that other stuff, and now think systematization of movie production, okay? of content creation, right? Combined with the fact that you already have big Hollywood influencers like Tyler Perry and Reese Witherspoon and Oprah Winfrey and all kinds of people in that community that already have huge production companies, that already have, you know, refined blueprints of how to be successful within that environment. And now SAG, you know, because I'm going to bring this to SAG so they can bring it to their members, SAG is going to create the opportunity for everyone to crowdsource, you know, all of their sources of lighting and, you know, finances and just like everything, right? Like all of these actors that are creating content, anybody that wants to create content, like doing it within the system, being informed by everyone else who's doing it, right? Along with these leaders that are willing, you know, under their own brand, under Oprah's brand or, you know, whoever's brand, for them to put out blueprints, you know, to the rest of the community. Like, here's how we do it. Like, you have to think of this. You have to do this. Like, here's our vendors that we, you get what I'm saying? Right. Like the whole, like I'm providing a system that provides the infrastructure for do-it-yourself Hollywood, whatever, you know, name your whatever, a commercial, a TV show, a movie. Like now 150,000 actors and all the rest of the other supporting, you know, vendors of that whole world start to together plug in and do their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a formulaic thing. Like they, like, here, I'm ready to do this. You know, some actor just says, hey, I'm ready to do this. And then all the other pieces start showing up and the producer, get what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard process to do independently right now. And, you know, that's a lot of like, that's whatever. But when it's all systematized, it's like that. You get what I'm saying? Right. So, and by them doing this, by SAG moving in this direction, basically taking the lead and showing the world how to use this tool is what it comes down to, which is amazing, you know. But also by them doing that, they are going to turn their leverage on the studios like that. Like as soon as the studios understand that they are now organizing in a way that actually puts the future of the studios at risk, like they maybe aren't so secure that they're the only game in town anymore, that you know, now SAG has this leveraging, you know, position to get what they want out of the negotiations, you know, besides having this whole new tool to do everything. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm about to show up with. And that's why it's compelling enough to enough people that it doesn't matter which people say no. There's going to be enough people that will hear what I'm saying you know, sufficiently to say, I got to just tell this, you know, I got to tell this person this. You know, it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long before it's happening. And and that's where, again, as I've been envisioning this happening and as I've been envisioning our conversation, within, you know, let's say within a couple months or so, just because I'm going to be so busy and all of that, I feel like I can prepare you with the content we need, what we just talked about, you know, finding the influencers, shooting the content, creating the promotional videos, getting the brand, all of that, that we can, you know, I can have a conversation with SAG along the way about, you know, what you're willing to offer. And you can offer, you know, group session, you can offer whatever you can offer to serve people, right? Like, let's all tune in, you know, on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and you've got, you know, 2,000 actors showing up, you know, on Zoom. You know, it's like there's all kinds of different ways that we can go with this, as long as you feel like you can serve in a way that we can figure out a way to monetize it, you know. And that's where, again, that's just one group, right? But at the same time, that is the group right now in my world that I would love, you know, if you would join me on this journey and we can do this together and you can be a part of this too, that would be amazing to me. So that's, you know, essentially my invitation to you. And we can keep talking about all the details, but I want you to just kind of get my vision and get how it leads into everything that you're sharing, and in a very accelerated pace, right? Like all the curriculum development you want to do, all the, you know, the retreats and everything, they're all going to be so much more advanced so quickly because all
Right.
of this is now your foundation, right?
Right.
And we're using the system that you're now capturing content all the time, not just with these people, but you can just on your own pick an hour, make an outline. I'm going to talk about this topic, and just monologue it, right? You can
Right.
just create content whenever you want. There's a lot of value, as we've talked about, to have an audience, at least one or many, so we can do that too. But the point I'm making is that we're putting you in this system for you to be getting the content out of you as quickly as you can and as you
Right.
want to, as we have. And the limit of that is just the processing resources, right? But that's why we're creating this positive feedback cycle, because the quicker we ramp things up, the quicker you're getting significant revenue, not just to handle your basic needs, but to pay for all these processing people that are doing your social media and processing all your content.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we're going to create an enterprise for you, like, immediately. You get what I'm saying? So again, it's like, here's like the spectrum of what's available to you. And this is like literally like the Rorschach test. It's like, where do you find yourself, gravitating toward? What is the world you want to create for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, it's beautiful vision and direction. Oh, yeah, definitely. Let you continue hearing more.
Cool. So do you have any questions about anything that I shared, or do you want me to keep going further into what I'm sharing with you now?
In regards to like your vision and what you're working on.
Not what I mean, if you have questions about what I'm working on, for sure, but I want to make sure we're spending time focusing on, how we blow you up. What I recommend in terms of like content creation within like the type of budget I was sharing, I want to be as economical as I can with you, but I also want you to get that. Even, let's just say, for example, because again, to me, this is at least, I mean, we'd have to see how it flows, but I feel like if you're able to make a $2,000 investment to start doing all of this like immediately, what I would do with you is I would set up 3 content creation sessions. Okay. One is with me. One is with an influencer. Like, you're going to give me a list of like 10 or 20 influencers that you want to have this with, or maybe you already know somebody that you want to have this content creation with. And then also there's another aspect to this that I'm going to share with you, but I want to answer any questions that you have or fill in any other details that you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all sounds great. Right now, that investment is not something I'm able to do because I have some other priorities. But really where I'm at right now, and probably I'm just not where you are in regards to like fast puddling over into that. For me, like, I move slow. I'm increasing with clients, thankfully. That takes some time. So working on like the website, probably I would say not that intensely. Like, I'm willing to say, okay, how can we start slower? Definitely a little bit less of an investment. And then put out, like, maybe not doing so much for me, but hey, like, Paty, here's this, here's a little bit, you go do the rest. But like I said, right now my priority is finish up this website. It's a lot more of a learning curve than I was expecting. I have my VA on a learning curve, so that's a bit. I'm creating a new program, right? So that's a lot, and I want to get fine-tune that program because that's also the content that I want to be working on. So like I said, I would love to help your vision and also the actors and stuff like that. But I don't want to also distract from the path I'm also on and just adding more stuff, because honestly, like, I don't want to say I'm close to burnout, but I can't take on any more things, even if it's business related, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're going to keep going deeper into the priorities, because I want to get a sense of your priorities. And that's why I was saying, like, the idea, I'm saying it and you're nodding it. Yeah, that would be great. I would love to be,
Yeah.
serving a big audience and all of that. But if you're not feeling like, you are ready to move that quickly, what do you feel like is the pace that you would like to move at, with me and with this process financially? Like, what do you like? How would you want to see what I just described unfold over how many weeks or months, or what do you imagine is what it looks like for you in your mind?
Gosh, I mean, honestly, because this was just kind of like here, like, let's go in there. I mean, I wouldn't really, I mean, the amounts that I've been providing up to now, that's what I can do without being like, oh my gosh, right? Because there are some other things, like I said, I'm working on, and stretching that financially so much. It's, I'm just being cautious. And if that's gonna cost me in the long run, okay. Like, it's not gonna honestly be too much different than I've already gone now. So I don't want to stretch so if the amount that I've been giving gives like a little extra percentage, okay, that's totally fine. Like, in direction, I think really just fine tuning what we have going on right now and just really getting it clear, because I know since working with you, and plus I'm also working with the business coach, and just being, let's keep simplifying, let's keep tightening up the rope, that's helping me to be more clear, so I can go in that route, and that's helpful, but again, not so expansive that I'm walking off this path that you've just like outlined. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I totally honor, everywhere that you're at about everything. And I know this is all very new, so I know that um, it's a lot to process just in real time in the moment. So I understand, and I appreciate that you're doing it. Um, the We're going to very shortly, and this is where I'm tying it all together, and we'll just see how it goes as we keep going through the materials.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep, bringing it back. Well, let's start actually with the first part under the priorities, because this is what I think will help me understand, what's driving your priorities. So what's the criteria by which, so here's your strategic planning document. Okay, so we're diving into it now. Like, this is actually it. So this is what you're going to keep working on. This is in the folder. This is in the linked in the README document. Okay.
Okay.
So now you've got the link to this and you can work on it. I suggest, I forget if I've shared this with you before, I suggest instead of doing editing mode, put it in suggesting mode, so that then I'm able to see what you've added to it and your comments and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So when you see when it's in suggesting mode, it's kind of like, it puts a little comment. If you haven't seen that before, you see that? So
Yeah, I'm opening it right now.
got it. It marks the text and then adds a comment. So
See, learn something new. Let me
yeah.
see. It's loading. Once it's loaded, then I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, perfect. So this is where, again, I want you to give me the sense of what's driving. Well, you did just give me one sense of simplification. Let's write that down. So that's one of the things that's driving your decision making right now, is you want to simplify things, right? Is that the best way to say it, or do you want to say it a different way?
Correct. And so, like, again, right, this strategic plan is helpful in simplifying it, tighten things up, and so it's much easier with the content creation and putting myself out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, the idea of being like, just like, imagine somebody going to be like, okay, let's say an actor going from being an extra on the film to one of the co-stars, right? That's quite a jump, and preparing for that, right? But that's been the path that they've chosen, right? This is being an entrepreneur, I feel is a little bit different. But again, it's just being on that path and working towards it. So yeah, this is learning my lines, learning the information, being clear. So once, or not once, but as the things keep tightening up, and again, your program keeps getting better, then it's like, okay, we put it out there, and it's like, wow, right? That's where I'm at for sure.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you for sharing all that and making that really clear. So I've got exactly now, how to best support you with that. So, so I want, for the purpose that I shared before of creating the positive feedback cycle for you, for whatever you're investing your time and energy in, that you're getting an increasing return on investment,
Right.
In revenue in particular, so that you can keep investing and you can keep in a higher cycle, right? We want to build that cycle so it's growing and growing and growing, right? So I'm going to keep kind of looking at how we do that in my mind, in the ways that we do that. Tell me how, so that I understand, because you're saying that like building the website is such a priority for you. Tell me how it serves you in the specific purposes it serves. What's it going to do for you, and how is it going to do that?
Well, for me, what it helps is people getting, it's like a giant billboard, right? I get to, or a giant business card where people get to go there, find out what are my upcoming events, telling people, go here, visit what I'm up to, visit who I am. I've had people say that they found me on Google, have gone to my website, learn more about me, and they're like, yes, I want to work with you. So it's that right now my website is shut down, not shut down, but it's like, work in progress. So I don't like that. And I also have a deadline to get out of one hosting company into another, or finish with my original hosting company before a certain time, or else I'm going to be paid or charged for an entire year. So that's also a hard deadline.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that's important. That's good to know. Let's definitely support you with that to get that transition for you. I was curious why you do only have that page up. That's not the full website right now. Why not just keep up your full website until the switchover?
Well, that was the original plan, but then something happened on my original website that one of the plugins isn't working, and it's just beyond, like, my VA has no idea, I have no idea, and my current hosting company just sends us like, read this article. Screw that. No, I don't have time for it, so I just shut it down. So that's another reason why, like, it's not able to be active. So I just want to get, talk about Spirit. I feel like Spirit's like, get away from this company, work and get into the other company where I do have support. I've already, with this new hosting company, they've just been really supportive, and I'm like, oh, good, I need help. So
that's great.
That's really why I'm just like, let's get this out. My next thing is starting next month, which is right around the corner. Starting to move the group program so I can like officially launch it in September. And so yeah, those are like my two big projects. I know I personally can't work on too much more, again, because thankfully my business is growing, and I really need to ensure that I take care of my clients and I take care of myself, and
yeah, I totally know. And so it's great. First of all, thank you for clarifying all that and laying it all out. I was taking some notes, so we've got that. So you've got the website next month. You've got to move the group program so you can launch in September. And we'll talk more about what that looks like in terms of, what you have to get done for that. We can focus on laying out these priorities in as much detail as you want within the system. And we'll see, I guess by the end of the meeting today, where you feel in terms of, I want you to, provide whatever continuing support you feel like you can right now, and be left with, I'm going to keep sending you as much value as I can through all of that. I'm adding to the system, adding to the, all of that, and just ask you to keep, seeing how much you can accelerate, the return feedback cycle and be getting us in this cycle. I want to find ways to be able to create tangible value for you in revenue so that you can provide, we can be in that cycle. So we'll just, we'll have you push, to your limit, today and going forward, and we'll keep going as much as you can go, because I'm going to keep giving you more than you're giving me for right now. But at some point, hopefully you'll be able to keep going, further and further and further.
For sure. And again, I appreciate that. But let's also, I also want you to be mindful, right? Of being mindful of the amount of energy that you're giving. I don't want to feel responsible or guilty of you overextending your value with this expectation of whatever that's going to look like moving forward. If you're like, okay, this is what I can give you, and then your value is like, okay, I can give you this a little bit more, I'm totally fine with that. I don't expect you to go so above and beyond, wear yourself out or take away from time that you could be looking for other people who you could also benefit from. So, also I'd really like for you to keep that in mind. And, I'm glad to work with you and support you, but let's also, be mindful of that overextension on either ends.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you and your background, sharing that, and for sure. And I will do that, and I'll keep that in mind. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we'll see where we end up, on the financial side, but if it's similar to how it's been, then it will be, really limited in what I can provide beyond the automated tools. But just the automated tools and all the document and everything I'm sharing with you is already, it already has the opportunity to create way more value for you, right? And that's the thing. It's just like everybody gets to embrace it how and when they're able to. And I get that you've got these existing commitments. So I get, that there are limits with your time and attention and all of that. So it's just, you've got this, unlimited tool in your hands, and you'll keep using it and you'll keep extracting value from it as much as you can along the way. And that's how we'll just keep, going forward, is you'll just keep, you'll be extracting as much value as you can that you can put back into it, and whatever level you're at self-defines where we're at in our relationship. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's a good way of us managing it, and you kind of getting where I'm coming from. And I will just, support you the most that I can with whatever it is that you can support me. That is the most that you can. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So let's focus on the specific priorities that you just mentioned, and let's go through the rest of the document, and let's start to create within the Uniting for Action system the priorities that you just mentioned, so that we're using it to, address what your needs are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, let's go back to this one over here. I'm going to put this over in this window, actually. Okay. So this is an example I wanted to show you about that. Well, we'll get to that later. So let's come back to our document. Oh, moved it over here. So let's come back here. Okay, great. So what we're going to do, and I'm not going to get into the full training with you now. I'll provide the automated training materials, but I'll just use the system and you can see what I'm doing and you can ask me questions along the way. And I'll just give you a very fast like overview of what we're looking at and how I'm using the system. Sound good?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So here is our query bar. So this shows us whether we're seeing thoughts, and we'll see all the thoughts below. This is the one thought right now, this reality generating machine. Let me actually get some more water real quick. Can you hold on real quick? Let me stop this. Okay, let me show you with Angie, since it's built out more, it'll be easier to see quicker. Okay, so these are like all the thoughts. Let's expand it all out so you can see. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at, the hierarchy of thoughts. And I'm going to show you, as we've talked about before, these different icons all have different meanings. So it becomes like a language. So you're going to have this, language of how to use this system. And the great thing about it is that as everybody learns these specific icons, then everyone's speaking the same language without even having to speak the same actual language, right? Like people who only speak Spanish will be able to work with people who only speak English because you're using the icons and the icons mean the same thing to both people.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So it really becomes like this universal language of how you use the system. So you are the dolphin in this system, okay? And then also to show you, let's show a different one. Let me come back over here. So you are the dolphin, and somebody else that posts some information that is not you, let me find it over here, is the peacock, okay? So the peacock is when you're actually being a peacock too, when you post something, but you show up as a dolphin because you see yourself. Because what it says is it's got story creator, you, and others. Okay. So the story creator is the peacock. Okay. That's the person showing their feathers. It's the person telling the world what they have to share. Okay. And wanting to attract attention, right? Wanting to attract attention and support and all of that. You got that? So that's the peacock. And when you are the dolphin. So when you see something that is you, it shows the dolphin. So that's how you easily see whether it's a post from you or a post from someone else. And then also, I don't know if I have it here, and I don't have it here. I'll show you later. But then if it's not the person that posted and not you and just a third person, then it's the butterfly, actually. That's the butterfly. The butterfly is the symbol I use. I know you appreciate that. So the symbolism, again, is we're being dolphins in our, pursuit, our individual activity. Peacocks when we spread our feathers and, create into the world. And then we're all butterflies together in that transformational experience together. Okay. So those are the three icons for you to be able to see who did the post. Okay. So that's the first, is you'll quickly see who made the post, somebody else or me or whatever it is. And then these other ones dictate what type of post it is. When it's the filing cabinet, that's a category of reality generating machines. Okay. And the briefcase is a reality generating machine. Okay. And the folder is a set of actions. Okay. And the clipboard is an action. So those are the 4 levels. Okay. So again, this is just creating an organizational structure for you to be able to easily organize like all your tasks and all that has to get done and all you have to assign to your VA and that sort of thing, is you're going to do it through actions, sets of actions, reality generating machines, and sets of reality generating machines. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then on the flip side, the those are on the action side, but then also, let me show you here. Let's do it here. So those are the 4 levels of actions. Then you also have 4 levels of thought that are parallel with the 4 levels of action. Okay, so you treat them the same in the system. I'm going to just bring it up here so you can see what it looks like. Oh, 1 second. Okay, so I'm bringing it up to where you're going to see.
Just curious, are you gonna have like a, I don't know what, I forget that, it's called like a code that just kind of explains what each of these icons are?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're gonna have a glossary, like a cheat sheet, and it's gonna show
Yeah.
you. It's gonna show you what everything is. Absolutely, absolutely. So let me just bring up. Let's see. Let's do it over here. So, okay, so here's the 4 levels of actions: action, set of action, reality generating machine, and category of reality generating machines. Okay. And then the parallel thoughts are thoughts, collection of thoughts, story, and theme of stories. Okay. So the way to get it is at this level right here, the story and the reality generating machine, those are pages within the story making machine. Okay. So this page is the page for communications. Okay. And communications then, as a reality generating machine, underneath it has sets of actions and actions. Okay. And that's how you organize a page, is you have a reality generating machine, and then down the page you have sets of actions and actions. Okay. Make sense? And then the same thing for thoughts. You have stories, and then you have collections of stories and or collections of thoughts and thoughts. Make sense?
I mean, it makes sense. It is a lot of detail, and I'm sure once play with it, see it in action, it's kind of just like some of those other, not some, but just trying to connect it, like some of those like clubhouse rules of, when I was in that, just I'm not anymore, but it's like, right, this does this but does that, and so yes, I get the concept. All of the details is like, that's a lot, but
I
yes,
understand.
I mean, that's what, like, after our session, I need to like walk around for a bit, because I'm like mind every time you're like, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then we're gonna break it down, and then here, and then there. I'm like, oh my god.
I understand. I understand. I get it. And I know it's a lot of
Okay.
detail. And that's why I'm trying not to get too much into the details, but I want you at least to know what you're looking at, so it makes sense. And then as I give you the training docs and you're able to go through it over and over and do it, then it'll, it won't take time.
Right.
You can, yes, there's a little bit of a learning curve to learn it, but once you've learned it, now you get to play with the whole thing, right? It's that the learning curve is going to be, just a flash in time. So now, now that you get, what you're looking at here, then it's a matter of what do we do to actually add things. So that's what I'm going to do with you right now, is I'm going to start to add, let's do it over here. I'm going to start to add some priorities. So I'm just going to go into some of the extra things here. So I'm going, the movie projector is for the stories. Okay, that's how you get to stories. And under stories, you've also got this wrench, which allows you to update your stories. Okay, so what we're
Now,
doing
when you're saying stories, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I don't understand what are stories doing? I guess I'm really confused. Now that I just see this over in regards to all of the details, all of the breakdown is, I mean, are other people gonna see all of that information? Is this just like the back end? Like, what are people really gonna see? Yeah.
Yes. So let me answer all of that really quickly. So in a way, this is both the back end and the front end at the same time, because everybody is seeing everybody's stuff as much as they want. So you're going to have control over who's seeing what you're posting. So right now, there's only two choices. Either it's private, where it's you and the people that you give permission to. So you can give permission to your VA and your husband and whoever else you want to be able to see it. Okay. And public, where everybody's seeing it. So those are your two options right now. But very soon, you'll have the option to have different groups of people that have different access to different things, right?
Okay.
So maybe you have close friends that have access to things that the public doesn't have access to, right? Like you'll have all different kind, family has access to things that other people don't have access to. Okay, so that's where we're going with it. So right
Okay.
now you have the private public option. Okay. So any other questions about that part of it?
No.
So the idea is to make as much of it public as you're willing to, because then that's when you get input from others and support from others, right? Like other people cannot provide support within the system if they can't see what you want them to support you about, right?
Right.
So the more access you give to more people, the more things, the more opportunities you're creating for support to come your way, basically.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mhm.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a new like theme of stories. So let me answer your question about the stories, because I think there's a video for you to watch that maybe you watched a while ago, but I think it's important for you to see right now because it kind of summarizes a lot in a short period of time. I want to have you share it on your screen and run it because my computer's already running hot right now. I don't know if it'll run the whole video. So it's in our README doc. Let me show you the link in the README doc, and then you'll click on it and you'll share it so we can both see it. But let me show you which ones to click on. So this, hold on, no, not that one. Okay, here's the two videos to watch. So this one first, reality generating machines. So this will remind you, or maybe you never saw it, I don't know, but go ahead and share your screen and click on this one first, and then the link below it. We're going to watch both of those videos right now.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I was just seeing which.
Perfect.
This one.
The one above that. No. I'm sorry. Maybe you are printing it. The one is, yeah, that one. Start with that one first.
Reality generating machines help you go from saying what you want to getting what you want.
Can you make it full screen, please?
It's really just as simple as defining
Great.
central roles you need to fill to get what you want.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, can you make it full screen? You know how to make the video full screen?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you start again just so I can hear it too?
Yeah, let me share the sound. One moment.
Perfect.
Reality generating machine.
Can you hear it?
A little bit. Maybe if you just turn up the volume a little bit. And the volume on your computer too? Did you turn that up, or your speakers?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Can you start again? I'm sorry.
yeah,
Just
no,
so I
you're,
can get it straight.
yeah, I'm just not sure why you can't really hear it.
I heard it some. It'll be fine.
To getting what you want in any area of your life. It's really just as simple as defining each of the essential roles you need to fill to get what you want. Each of these essential roles is like a gear in your machine. Let's use a simple example. Let's say you want to start selling your products or services. You figure out that the essential roles that you need filled are a website developer, a videographer, and a video editor. As you define what each one needs to create or provide for you, you're essentially creating a blueprint for each gear in your machine. In order to actually build your machine from the blueprint you created, you simply need to forge agreements with a website developer, a videographer, and a video editor to deliver the work you've specified. Each agreement gets you one step closer to having a fully functioning machine. While you're still missing any essential gears, your machine isn't functional. Once you have all the necessary agreements in place to add all the essential gears to your machine, now you've built a fully functioning reality generating machine that can do the work you need done in order to create the reality that you've declared. This is the step-by-step, systematic way that you can build reality-generating machines to go from saying what you want to getting what you want in any area of your life.
So that makes sense.
Yeah,
Let's stop for a second and stop sharing for a moment so I can see you better.
yeah, hold on.
We can talk about it a little bit. Yeah. So first of all, had you seen that video before or not?
No, no, I didn't know that was there.
Okay. So the reality generating machine that you just saw, that's what we're using the system for, is we're creating reality generating machines where we're breaking everything that you need done down into the individual nano actions of things that need to get done. Okay. And then each one of those things that needs to get done gets assigned to a person. It gets assigned to you, or it gets assigned to your VA, or it gets assigned to me, or it gets assigned to whoever. Okay. And then once that person does their job, then you're able to get the result that the machine was designed for. Okay. But when you design the machine and you say, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, if you're missing any of those gears, if you're missing a videographer, if you're missing a video editor, you're not going to be able to create the result that you're saying that you want to get, right? If you're consistently not getting that gear, if like months are going by and you're not getting that gear, you might need to redesign the machine so that you don't need that kind of gear, so you can maybe get it done a different way. But this gives you the real reality in advance. Like, here's all the gears that I need to create agreements with. These are all people I need to create agreements with in order to make this functional. Like, if I can't get all 20 of these agreements, I shouldn't even start doing this, because if I get 19 of them and I don't get that 20th, then I've just wasted all that time because I still can't get this done. Do you get what I'm saying? It brings a real like reality check to everything that you say that you want to get done, because it maps it all out and says, okay, then now you've got to do all of these things, step by step by step by step by step. And either you got to do it or you got to pay somebody to do it. But even if you're paying other people to do it, you need somebody to manage those people that are doing it, right? There's like all these layers and levels of what needs to get done. But that's where you have to add that into your reality generating machine. You have to have a gear that's manager, you have to have a gear that's whatever, So what we're using the system for is we're creating reality generating machines. The gears are the actions. So you define the reality generating machine, as we're about to, for your program that you're launching in September. Okay. So we're going to build a reality generating machine that's going to give you that reality. And then within that reality generating machine, we're going to define all of the things that have to get done in order to complete that. Okay.
Okay.
Things have to be composed, things have to be edited, there has to be video created, I have to do something on the website, I have to do social
Right.
media, all the different pieces, right?
Correct.
So you do all of that in advance, you lay it all out, then you go and create agreements with all of the entities that you need to in order to get the whole thing done. Like you don't even necessarily need to start getting any of it done. I mean, you can start as long as you're confident you're going to get it all done. But you don't, if you can't get all the agreements don't even start. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all or nothing with these things, right?
Okay.
So,
When you say agreements, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean?
like I'm going to pay you $1,000 to do my website for me. Like I'm going to, you're going to pay me, $300 to do a session with you, whatever it is. So everything is based on agreements. And actually the video I'm about to show you lets you understand that even more. So let's actually go right into the next video and then we can talk more about the specifics of it.
Okay. Just to say, I do have to jump off in about 15 minutes. I've had some calls come through that I need to return. So that being said, let's say we do have 15 minutes. What's the best thing that we could focus on? Watching this video or any like a game plan? What do I need to do moving forward?
Yeah, I
What
think
makes more sense?
yeah. Let's yeah, thanks for letting me know. I know you had mentioned 6:30, so I was still going on that time frame. So let me thanks for updating me. Okay, so we'll tighten it up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through this document, because what you're going to do is you're going to use the document in conjunction with the system in order to, basically map out all that you have to do. And I'm going to get you started, with these initial things that you just mentioned. So let's take the priorities that you just mentioned. Are there still things that need to be done to get your website completed at this point?
Yeah.
You mentioned the hosting switch as an example.
Yeah, the hosting switch, fine tuning. Like right now we have the home page, more or less like the content, fixing it up. So yeah, there's still a couple of pages that we're gonna keep fine tuning, but really, yeah, my biggest thing right now is just switching the domain from one place to another.
Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm adding a new theme for you, which is just priorities. And under the priorities, we're going to list those exact priorities as additional themes. Let me think for a second. Maybe we're going to... Yeah, I'm going to, since we only so far have been talking about, about that the reality generating machines. I'm going to change this from a theme to the reality generating machine. Let me just give you the summary of the next video, I encourage you to watch it later, is that in order to create an agreement with anybody about anything, you need to exchange. The agreement is going to be based on the combination of the inspiration and incentives that you're offering to somebody, okay? Somebody that's close to you may do something for you just because they're inspired and they love you and they're not going to charge you, okay? So that's where inspiration will rule the day. Somebody, might not be enrolled at all, but, if you pay them whatever they charge, then they're going to do the job for you, right? So, those are like the two realms. And then there's a whole in between that we work with within the system, because you're going to be able to not only provide money, but you're going to have all these other currencies like experience and trade and relationships and all these other things that you can exchange with people to create agreements, right? So what we're doing again is we're using the system to map everything out. Let me share again. So the priorities we're going to call a category of reality generating machines. And we're going to create a reality generating machine for your website. We're going to create a reality generating machine for your the program that you're saying in September. What's the name of that program?
Yeah, it's the trauma aware.
Let me do that one now. I'll do the website.
Reiki practitioners. Yeah, I don't even know the name of it.
Trauma aware what?
Program for Reiki practitioners.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trauma aware
Still
program.
working on it.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm still like fine tuning it. Like I said, it's still pretty new.
Okay. So we'll add that as a reality generating machine. So again, now we're going to specify all of the pieces that, you know, you have to give attention to, like the big pieces that you have to give attention to. So give me one big piece that you have to give attention to in order to complete this.
Yes, it's to fine tune the curriculum.
Okay, great. So I'm going to, so let's call that a set of actions. Okay, I'm not going to make that a machine. You get to decide, like, is this a machine, you know, where there's all these pieces that make up the machine, or is this like a bunch of actions? So we're just going to call it a set of actions and then have all the other individual actions. So it's up to you. Like, this is how you decide how you know, create a hierarchy of what you're organizing. So each of these levels are just tools, organizational tools for your own mind of how to organize things. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to say a set of action to, what did you call it?
Flesh out the curriculum.
So I'm just going to say generally develop curriculum. Okay.
That's right.
And so then of the developing curriculum, is there new content that you still need to create?
I mean, it will come out of the curriculum.
But I mean, do you have the curriculum created already, or do you need to create any new curriculum in order to do it?
Well, it's right now it's just a very general. So it's something that I got from ChatGPT, to be honest.
Right.
And
so you
so
still
now
have, right. So you have to refine, you have to add to it. But you have to build out the curriculum still, right?
Correct.
So under develop curriculum, we can go ahead and just add as part of it, as like, again, a set of actions, is that you have to create new, what do you call them, sections, chapters, or finalize your chapters, or what do you want to say?
Finalize each module.
Okay. Finalize each module. Okay. So you see how I'm using the system. And again, I'm going to leave it at this for now, because I just want to, again, you're going to do that on your own. But what we're going to do now that we've started to break down all that you have to do, and then, you know, we take it, you know, module by module. You know, you start to have notes of what you need to do with this module, what needs to be added to it. You get what I'm saying? It goes down to the deepest level of detail. So you've got it all mapped out, and you can see in front of you all that you have to do, you know, on a priority level, right? And ways that you communicate it to yourself, to your VA, to other people you're interacting with. Okay. This becomes like your mind map, but in an interface that allows each one of you to share, to say things, to go back and forth, to get it all done. You get what I'm saying? You, your staff, the vendors that you're working with, this becomes your interface to be able to manage all the stuff that you're doing. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the stories are important because so everything comes down to agreements. Everything that you're breaking it down. And again, a lot of times the agreement is going to be with yourself. You're going to be the one to get it done. But if it's not you, it has to be an agreement with somebody else to do something in exchange for whatever they need in order to do it for you. You get what I'm saying? So reality creation just comes down to a whole series of agreements. Okay. And in order to create an agreement with somebody, basically you're telling them a story like, I need this from you and I'm willing to offer this. And they're telling you a story, I can give you this, I just need this from you. And that begins a negotiation until you arrive at an agreement. Okay. But it starts with a story and with an offer. You see that? So that's the foundation of everything. That's the video that you're going to see later. So it starts with a story and an offer that leads to a negotiation that leads to an agreement. Okay, so that's all automated within the system. So you're mapping out all of your actions. You're creating agreements all across the board. We're creating offers all across, stories, offers. Then you're entering negotiations. Then you're creating agreements. This is how you're getting everything done. Okay, and getting everything done simply comes down to a whole bunch of people, that you have an agreement with doing their part, right, to get it all done.
Yeah.
So that's how you use the system to do it. And then the document that I was just showing you, your strategic planning document, is just the guide for you to be able to map it all out into your system. Like you're going to come to this document and you're going to say, okay, now for brand building, which of these parts do I want to add into the reality generating machine so that you're keeping track of it? Okay.
Wait, where's brand building? Oh, is it in the document?
In the strategic planning document.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So again, I brought up the example of, like, for example, looking at examples of others. Okay. You really want to have conversations with different people that will give you good feedback about, showing them what you like about, these other people's websites. The model. Let me just show you one example. This is in the list of samples that I sent you last time after our last meeting. But let's look at this one as an example, because you want to find these models out in the world, model examples of people that are doing, something along the lines of what you're doing, so that you can find who are the models for you, right? Who are the models of success? What does an influencer look like now that you want to work your way towards? So this person, I found her because she was doing, so you can see the title, Ultimate ASMR Reiki Healing Session for All 7 Chakras. Okay. And then she's going through what she's doing, but this is a cross-promotional video. I only found her because I subscribe to this person, and she's the other person in the video. So you actually get 2 examples of 2 remote Reiki practitioners that are using YouTube to connect with people and do, remote healings and create content that's along the lines of the content that we were talking about before, where you're going to create preview content, you're going to have premium content. Like, this is how you're going to develop that virtual business that you're talking about, right?
Where, I'm just looking on this, oh, hold on. Did you put it on the strategic plan?
No, the video samples are on the README after our last meeting. Here it is, video samples. So yeah, I definitely recommend going through everything on here. I get you haven't been doing that part of the homework. I know that you're busy, but again, the resources are here as it is in the strategic planning doc. And what you're going to do now, to go back to the strategic planning doc, is you're just going to go bit by bit through the doc to be able to, build out your, use the system to be able to add, what it is that you need to do. Like here, it's giving you a step-by-step of how you create your brand and how you build your brand, okay? But maybe you have some books that tell you how to do it and give you a step-by-step, or maybe you've had a coach that's given you a step-by-step. The system lets you put it in and then follow it, my step-by-step, somebody else's step-by-step, and then create that result for yourself. You get what I'm saying? and to do it in conjunction with everybody else that you're giving access to that information. Okay. So what you're going to do, from here on is you're going to go through this document, you're going to add to it, you're going to edit it, you're going to do what you can to keep building this document out, as I'm going to keep building it out, as I'm building out the template for everybody. And I'm going to be, over time, adding it into the system so that you'll be able to take things that you see in the document now, and you'll be able to go into Uniting for Action's profile and just copy and paste whole templates. Like, here's the brand building module. Let me copy it from Jarrett and paste it, and now I can use it. Okay. And you're going to be doing the same thing, because you're going to be building your content out in that way. And then you're going to be providing access to other people to your content in exchange for the monthly fee or whatever they're doing with you. You get what I'm saying?
Makes sense. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I think at this point, that kind of gives you, in a nutshell, everything that you have in your hands right now with which to create value. And you can, create value as much as you can. You tell me what you're feeling in terms of how much support, what exchange you want to have, where you at, and you're feeling at this moment. And then, of course, I'll give you more time later, but you tell me now, what you're feeling and how you want to keep going forward in terms of our relationship and support, and the value you feel that you're getting from all of these tools to be able to create, the results that you need to create in the world.
Yeah. I guess, gosh, I mean, right now, what I'm looking at in regards to strategic plan and the README and things like that, it's kind of more what I'm being given right now is, okay, go do this research, go look at this, go watch this, go build it out. I mean, that's a lot. And, when I have to, my main focus right now, like I said, is finishing my website. The content, I do have the content, I'm simplifying it. I did put it on the README. There's a link to the content that I'm creating and stuff like that.
Yeah, I read it. It's good. I like it.
I mean, adding it also to like the strategic plan. Okay, I mean, I can do that. I'm flushing it out in one area. So what I can do is just like instead of adding it to the strategic plan, just keep it where I have it and add the link to the strategic plan and be like, here it is. So I mean, I can do that. So I guess like right now, I'm just like, I don't know what else I could say. Yes, can you keep doing this in regards to my business? Because right now I don't feel, I'm like, I wouldn't even know what to tell you to do. Because right now I'm given so much to do, not just by you, but what I know of creating content, things like that, and I have the support systems. So that being said, yeah, I'm not really sure what else.
I
So I
think
guess that's where I would throw it back at you of like, well, what do you need to do on my end or for my business? Like the building out.
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple ways to approach what you're saying. One, all of the steps and all of the everything that I described to manifest everything that you have to do, you have to go through those steps either way. So either you're going to do it in your head, or you're going to do it in the system, or you're going to do it in some other system. But in this system, it gives you the opportunity to benefit from the work that other people are doing in those areas at the same time that you're helping to benefit others, right? It becomes a collective process like we're talking about, right? So that you're, I'm providing templates that you're using, other people that are coming into the system are providing templates, all of that sort of thing. The one thing that I see from my perspective, in order for you to kind of go to a next level from what I've seen so far, and there's more for me to see, but I think creating the type of content that I'm describing with you, like where you create an outline and have a session with a person that then becomes the high, you take pieces out of that to create your reel, basically, right? That to me, this is the best way that you can take a leap forward with all that you're doing, in one kind of simple step. You get what I'm saying? Like for you to start to create some of that foundational quality content that then has people converting. It's the same reason that you're creating the website to convert people from prospects into clients, right? I just think that I know your website is important and you want to have all the different pieces there and all of that, but I can guarantee you that in a very short amount of time, you're going to be converting way more people from your presence within the Uniting for Action system than are coming to your website first. You'll be having people going from the Uniting for Action system to your website, but in terms of like masses of people coming through your website, and you get what I'm saying? It's not, you're not going, unless you have some ways of creating visibility for your website that I'm not aware of. How do people find your website right now? How are you getting, masses of people or new people to the website?
Right. I understand you don't view it as a priority, but I have a financial deadline in order to make it a priority.
Oh, no, I don't want you to stop working on your website. I'm saying, I know you have to do that, and I want you to do that. I'm just saying that even though that's a priority in your time, in terms of a return on investment of your time and energy, I'm believing that there's other places that you can be investing time and energy that are going to give you an equal or better return on your investment. So that's why I want to hone in with you what's driving your decision making, because I want to help you get the best return on investment of your time and energy. And that's essentially what all of this leads to, right?
Of course. But the thing is, like I mentioned, I can only focus on 2 priorities at one time, plus the clients that I see and building them out. So I hear what you're saying in regards to use the plan to put in the information, because it's got to be built in somewhere. You're absolutely right. And but that's my thing, is focusing one thing at a time, because my problem has been I've been focusing on a lot of different things, like trying to flesh this out, right, in other ways, other programs, other services, other sessions. So I'm just saying, okay, Paty, just even before this, what can I focus on? So like, for example, the website, I'm giving myself like a week to get at least 3 pages up. Not very much, but I am in the process of what I'm doing with my website is in essence rebranding, really simplifying, cutting out all this extra stuff. So yes, it's putting that. And again, what I'm hearing from you is like, we'll put it in the strategic plan. And I will. However, I'm hesitant because, of like what you said, like what's going private, what's going public. I don't want to put all of my ideas in one thing that may go public, because it's just such a mess. And I wouldn't want to like share everything, right? That's just not where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's totally
So,
fine. And you have that capability within the system to specify what's public and what's private. So that's not a problem with that. And I think, based on what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, and I understand your priorities with that. And we don't want to create extra work for you that isn't creating results for you. I think if you already have all the needs mapped out for the website, maybe the website doesn't need the type of structure that we're looking at with the system. I think the program that you're creating for September, unless you have some other people that you need to, do you have people you need to interface to create what you need to create for September, or is it all just you?
right now, I'm not even, I can't even think about all those details. Right now, it's just like creating content. And that's like the first step. Then the next step, like how to deliver it is, the next thing. I have a couple of options in mind. I mean, one of the programs like that's active and useful that I'll more likely be using to make it happen, I don't know, is the program that I have for my clients, my CRM, which is, or if you're familiar with it, Go High Level. If you're familiar with Go High Level, yes, with that I would need help with, because I'm working on building a lot of things in that, and that's a huge learning curve that I'm just like, I don't want to deal with either.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I think getting back to what you're saying, and you're right, the website is your brand building right now. So I highly encourage you to just go through the step by step where I'm laying out for you, where you're looking at colors, you're looking at backgrounds, you're critically analyzing all these other people for you to really hone in on how you're going to deliberately build your brand. Okay. So just as an example, the guidance that I've already given in that document and will continue to give about the brand building is hugely valuable. Because if you build your website not doing all of that, it's a huge difference between building your website with such intention that every brick that you put in there is a brick towards where you're going, building the building, the castle you want to build. So that's part of the value of this right now for you. And again, I'm building that into the system to give you a step-by-step of how to brand build, but also how to, like, for yourself, add the videos that you're reviewing. That's how your husband can give you feedback. That's how your partner can give you feedback. You get what I'm saying? Like, and when I say private, you can make it private to them, right? You can give access to those people. So they're looking at it along with you and giving you feedback and helping you build your brand. So that's one immediate, in terms of your immediate with your website right now, is I would say that's probably the best way to use the system for that priority. And then for the other priority you mentioned of your program that you need to just develop content for, is to use the system to outline the content, contain the content, share the content, refine the content, and then ultimately deliver the content, to the clients and whatever through the system. Because I think, by September, we should have the paywall in place and all of that. So I think that, I think for your top two priorities that you mentioned, that's how I see you leveraging the system the most that you can. And that's how I see the system being, very valuable, along with what I've put into it. You know what I'm saying? Along with all the guidance that I've put into the document and into the system. So I think that's the best way that I can create value for you within the realm that you're operating in right now. And so, you just get to decide how valuable that is to you, and then, that's becomes our exchange, right? That's where we're at with things. So.
Okay. I mean, so.
And
yeah, let me just take some time to process, because it was just a lot of information.
Yeah.
And just in regards to like what's next up, just to be able to kind of process everything that you told me.
Yeah, and let me tie it back with that one principle I shared before, because it's really important. So I'm providing all of this value to you now for you to use these tools to create tangible value for yourself. As you do that, the better you can take advantage of the tools, the better you can create value for yourself, the more revenue and everything else you're going to generate, which is the more you can put back in this, which is that cycle, right? So we want to find ways that you're effectively using the system to create value for yourself, because that creates the positive feedback loop for it to keep growing and growing, and more capabilities. And then processors show up and editors show up and other people show up, because you've got the resources for all of that. You get what I'm saying? So we're ramping it up, and this is the ramp that we're on. And then you self-define where we're at in the exchange. And then we just keep growing as much as, you can, based on the value you're able to extract out of it at any given time. That's kind of the way that I see it. So I think it's great what you're saying. Just take some time, process it all, let it all sit and settle and figure out, where everything is at for you. And we go from there.
Exactly. I'll reach out, and probably like in a couple of days after I process, I look at everything and then just say, okay, let's again simplify, because I know you're a man of many ideas, and there's a lot of things that you do which are really great. It's just, yes, it's one more thing. I that's just well, it's just a lot. It's a lot more than I thought moving into this, right? Moving into it. But anyways, I don't want to get caught into that because I do have to go. So I'll read it, review, and then I'll reach out to you through WhatsApp for about next steps and like what I feel that I want to move forward, what that looks like, and then you can share how you can help me. Okay.
That's perfect. That's perfect, Patty. That's awesome.
All
Awesome,
right. Well,
Patty.
thank you for everything. Thank you for all you do. Love your vision, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
That sounds great, Patty. Awesome. I appreciate everything that you're doing. So happy to support you. So glad to be on this journey with you and go wherever we can go with it. It's, I'm really excited. I really appreciate you and excited for what we're doing.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
You too. See you.